Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. So the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao has been signed apparently. The date is March 13th of 2010, and I believe one of the fighters gained a big advantage as a result of the deal points on the fight. Let me just say that fights are more than fights, right? The negotiations that lead into the fight have a big bearing on who's going to win the fight. Now, here, a few things happen that I think really bode well for one fighter. Let's talk about them. First, let me point out that Floyd Mayweather, because he has fragile hands, it is a weakness of his. Floyd Mayweather wanted 10-ounce gloves. The contract is actually for 8-ounce gloves. Manny Pacquiao wanted 8-ounce gloves because he believes that his punching power is magnified with 8-ounce gloves, and his last loss to Eric Morales was actually a fight that took place with 10-ounce gloves. Manny Pacquiao was not happy with that. His promoter at the time was Murad Muhammad. Manny Pacquiao is now promoted by Bob Arum. Pacquiao favors 8-ounce gloves. I don't believe the 10 or 8-ounce glove controversy is that big a deal because Manny Pacquiao fought using 8-ounce gloves against Oscar De La Hoya and against Miguel Cotto, and he wasn't able to, in my opinion, drop either guy with one punch power. He was able to do so against Ricky Hatton, but the point is, even with 8-ounce gloves, Manny Pacquiao isn't a one-punch fighter. He did drop Cotto multiple times in their fight. Cotto got up. I thought that that fight easily could have gone the distance in the 12th round. Cotto made it to the 12th round, despite the fight being one-sided. And when the referee stopped the fight, I didn't get the feeling that Cotto was unconscious. In fact, quite frankly, after the fight, they interviewed Cotto. Cotto clearly had his wits about him. Oscar De La Hoya, if you recall, Nacho Beristain asked Oscar if he wanted to continue when Oscar was in the corner. Oscar retired in the corner. Maybe he would have been stopped later in the fight, but I didn't feel that Manny Pacquiao with 8-ounce gloves had dramatic punching power. Let me also point out, too, that Floyd has experience with 8-ounce gloves. Floyd himself is a former lightweight champion. Floyd came up through the ranks with 8-ounce gloves. I think for one fight, Floyd can let his hands fly in 8-ounce gloves. Keep in mind, the fighters are able to pick the brand of the glove. Floyd will be able to find an 8-ounce brand that is comfortable for him. What I do think will make a difference in this fight is the fighters agreed to 147 pounds. That's a huge concession by the Pacquiao folks. I believe one of the big secrets to Pacquiao's success against Ricky Hatton, for example, was the fact that Ricky Hatton had to come down to 140 pounds to fight Floyd. If you look at Ricky Hatton at the weigh-in, Ricky Hatton looks gaunt, right? Hatton doesn't look, as robust as he did fighting at 147 against Floyd Mayweather. Um, let's go further. Miguel Cotto has had weight issues in the past. He wasn't allowed to fight at 147. He had to fight Manny Pacquiao at 145. At least he had to come in at 145 for the weigh-in. Now understand, those last 2 pounds are so hard for some guys to drop that Floyd Mayweather, the rumor is, paid a $600,000 penalty, $300,000 a pound over 145 pounds when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez. So I thought it was significant that after forcing Cotto to come down to 145, Manny Pacquiao was unable to get Floyd to agree to fight at less than 147. So I think the 147 actually is excellent for Floyd because he doesn't have to lose those extra pounds that Cotto lost or that Ricky Hatton had to lose when they fought at 140. So I thought that was significant. But for me, the thing that everyone has to focus on here, and it's the kind of thing that I mention in my book in terms of rating fights, you always have to think about the terms of the fight and what's going on before the scenes, is that Manny Pacquiao suffered a broken right eardrum in his fight against Miguel Cotto. And keep in mind, too, that fight made it to the 12th round. Even though Manny Pacquiao won that fight easily, Miguel Cotto hits hard, right? And Manny Pacquiao, in addition to cuts on his face, Pacquiao actually suffered a broken right eardrum. Um, I think that's significant. If you go on these health websites, they actually recommend that you do nothing for 2 months, hoping that the injury heals. And then if the injury doesn't heal, they actually recommend surgery, right? Let me point out that a broken eardrum is one of the worst injuries that a boxer can have because severe broken eardrums, and I don't know how severe Manny Pacquiao's is, but severe broken eardrums can actually lead to balance problems. And even if Pacquiao is 90% of himself balance-wise, I got to tell you, at elite level, world-class boxing, especially when the fight is for the pound for pound title, you want to be 100%, not 90%. Also, for those who believe that no boxer would place themselves at risk, all I can say to you is just look at the history of the sport. Harry Greb, the Hall of Famer, when he died, they discovered he was blind in one eye, but yet he had fought several fights blind in one eye. Joe Frazier had significant vision problems in one of his eyes before he fought the entire trilogy with Muhammad Ali. By the way, that's the secret behind the fact that it looks like Joe has one good eye at the end of the Thriller in Manila, yet Eddie Futch, Freddie Roach's mentor, the man who trained Freddie Roach, Eddie Futch, stops the fight. Well, the reason is the apparent one good eye that Frazier seemed to have was actually his bad eye. Frazier couldn't see out of that eye, right? His good eye was closed. Eddie Futch understood that Frazier was blind, and Frazier himself, at the post-fight interview, acknowledged to the people around him that he couldn't see. Keep in mind, this is with one eye looking like, it wasn't that swollen. So my point to you is that fighters all the time take risks, entering fights at less than 100%. Larry Holmes, during his comeback, actually fought a fight once wearing a contact lens. I believe Manny Pacquiao is a very sharp, very intelligent guy, but I do believe Manny Pacquiao's first priority these days is toward his people, Filipinos, and being a member of government in the Philippines. That's the reason why this fight is happening in March. I think Manny Pacquiao is giving away a lot by not resting, not having his eardrum heal. Keep in mind, too, Manny Pacquiao's last fight was against a southpaw. Now he's going to fight a very quick, orthodox fighter. I think that's a problem. Floyd Mayweather, by comparison, fought in September, not November. The 6-month gap between fights is typical for Floyd Mayweather, who, going back several years, usually fights 2 times a year. So this is in line for Floyd. It's outside the norm for Manny. I think Manny Pacquiao gave away a lot during these negotiations. I think the timing as well as the weight are both feathers in Floyd's cap. Look up the details online, and for big time gamblers, pay close attention to status updates on Manny Pacquiao's punctured eardrum. If Pacquiao's not 100%, you can bet your bottom dollar Floyd is going to be targeting that right ear. Keep in mind that right ear is right across from Floyd's left hook, one of Floyd's best punches. Thanks for watching.